Do you ever feel like to-do lists make your life feel oddly flat and overwhelming at the same time? In this video, I show you my weekly mind map system, a planner that starts with you at the center and branches out into all the areas of life: work, family, home, health, even creative projects. It's part planning, part self-care, and part playful doodle. This isn't just another planner layout, it's a tool that can shift the way you can see your week, from endless tasks to a living rhythm. Let's create it together. Welcome, my friend. I'm glad you are here again. My name is Garjana, if you don't know me, and I'm both a psychotherapist and a lifelong crafter. On this channel, I love exploring how creativity and mental health can come together, how paper, scissors, glue, and a bit of play can support our well-being in simple but powerful ways. This video is part of my Junk Journal Planner series, where I'm building a planner that's not just about keeping track of appointments, but about creating a space for rest, reflection, and everyday creativity. In the first video, I built the cover. In the second, I shared my very first printable kit, set up this October fold-out calendar pages, and today we are going to explore how to use a weekly mind map system to make planning more human, flexible, and fun. Okay, let's jump right in. Here you can see I have done this for a very long time. They look really messy and have all these little circles and squares and colors, and don't you worry, it looks a little bit complicated, but it's actually quite simple. So let's just start together. I always begin with putting myself right in the center of the page, because every task, every responsibility really radiates out from me. I write down the date of the first day of the week because this helps me to orient myself and to anchor my map. As a psychotherapist, I think these small details matter. Too often, planning systems put everyone else at the center: work deadlines, appointment, other people's needs. But when you start with yourself, you're reminded that you are the hub. The tasks orbit your life, not the other way around. From the center, I add big branches for the main areas of my life. Yours will look different than mine, but mine usually include work, family, house, garden, health, and of course YouTube. Here I start with my work as a psychotherapist, the different areas, and then from there I look at what else comes to mind. I'll be honest, my brain doesn't think in straight lines. I'm full of association, follow-on thoughts, little sparks that lead me from one thing to the next. A regular list feels like trying to push all that into a single column, and it never fits for me. But starting with myself in the center reminds me that my mind can branch in many directions and still holds together. It's like giving myself permission to not be linear, to say, this is how my brain works and that's okay. Instead of fighting it, I'm using it. And when I look back at these maps, I don't just see what I did, I see myself reflected on the page. And what I really love with these maps is that these first big branches can be different every week, because they reflect the real texture and layout of my weeks. Some weeks family pulls me in closer, other weeks work grows long and heavy. And seeing it like this feels honest. It reminds me that balance isn't about having everything perfectly equal, it's about noticing where the energy is flowing. And this is such a gentle way to notice. Instead of a rigid planner saying you must do X, Y, Z by that and that time, the branches simply show me this is where I am leaning right now. Sometimes that's motivating, and sometimes it's an invitation to pause and ask, do I really want to spend my week or shape my week this way? The branches are like a mirror. not a judgment, just a reflection of what is present. And here, for example, I'm looking a bit closer at my YouTube channel. For this week, tomorrow, I'll be sharing another video, which is very unusual for me because usually I only have a video once a week. But this time, I will share the details for our October Mindful Collage Challenge starting on the 1st. That means I have to make sure on Monday that all will be ready, including daily prompts in the community feed, gentle, creative invitations for mindful noticing and collecting little snippets for our end of the month collage. And of course, then there is the video for next Monday. So I'm still not, what's the word for it? Like batch producing? Like, no, I have a video each week and I come up with the ideas and then I need to film it and research it and write the script and doing all of these things. And so I write all the little bits and pieces down so I will not forget. And I do this with all the big branches. I break them down into smaller ones. This is where the map starts to look more like real life. Messy, layered and interconnected. And the beauty of this method is that you don't have to capture everything perfectly. It's not a contract, it's a sketch, it's a living picture of your week. And for me, this is a way of honoring the way my thoughts naturally flow. One idea sparks another and another until I suddenly remember something I had completely forgotten. And if I were trying to squeeze all of this into a straight list, I lose half of it. And here I can keep adding branches, little twigs of thoughts, and they all find a place. In therapy, we sometimes talk about the difference between chaos and complexity. Chaos feels overwhelming, like you will never manage it. But complexity, when you see it mapped out, can actually feel beautiful. That's what these sub-branches are. A picture of the complexity of life that doesn't feel chaotic anymore, just alive. Once the branches are all there, I like to give them a bit of order. I take my red pen and number the big branches with Roman numerals. This isn't about ranking or strict priority, it's more like deciding where I want to place my attention first. Then, with a blue pen, I number the smaller branches in each category using simple numbers like 1, 2, 3, just as gentle steps. What this gives me is a kind of map within the map. I can see at a glance not only what needs to be done, but the sequence that feels most natural to move through for me. For me, this is a way of softening the week. Instead of jumping back and forth, stop and go, forgetting what comes next, these numbers become quiet reminders. They help me flow from one thing to the next without constantly renegotiating where my energy should go. As a therapist, I know how much mental energy gets used up in decision making. Not the big decisions, but the small, constant one. What do I do now? What's next? When you reduce that friction, life feels gentler. And numbering like this isn't harsh or rigid. It's friendly. It's like leaving myself a trail of little breadcrumbs through the week. Sometimes I even think of it as creating a rhythm, like the red Roman numerals mark the main beat and the blue numbers mark the smaller notes in between. And when I follow that rhythm, the week feels less like a battle and more like a dance, not perfect, but flowing. And once the map is drawn, I use it throughout the week. Some tasks get circled, some crossed out, some just stay as reminders. I don't try to tick it all off and I don't try to make it neat. The map is less about control and more about reflection. It helps me see where my energy is going and where it isn't. And sometimes the not yet done tasks are as important as the finished ones. They show where I've allowed space and where I've allowed rest, or what has not been as important as I thought it was. For me, this feels so much kinder than a checklist. A checklist shouts done or not dying, success, failure. A mind map whispers, here's where your week wandered. Here's what had your attention. And I think that's what keeps me coming back. Have a lovely day.